good afternoon. Whatever time you're viewing this, we're so very happy to have you join with us. My name is Sister Joy, and welcome to the 2023 virtual FOLA, which is Festival of Literary Arts National Poetry Month open mic event, featuring the literary leaders of Prince George's County. Now, this event is presented by the Prince George's Arts and Humanities Council through the Office of the Poet Laureate. My name is Sister Joy, and I serve as the inaugural Prince George's County Poet Laureate. I will be hosting today's National Poetry Month open mic celebration, which is titled Poetry, Making a Difference, Making a Change. Now, before we continue, as was indicated in our announcement, today's event includes an open mic. So if you wish to present in the open mic portion of the program, which will be our second half, please put your name and the words open mic next to it in the chat. We hope to have all who desire to be able to share in the open mic. Poem should be around 2 minutes, maybe a little bit more, certainly a little less is fine, but we want to accommodate as many persons as possible. And of course, not only is this the Arts Council, but it's a Sunday, and this is family-friendly poetry. Of course, we may have tender young ears in the house, and of course, my ears are always tender. So our theme is, as I stated earlier, poetry, making a difference, making a change. Kind of setting the tone here, let me share a quote from Congressman John Lewis, who advised, "Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble." Well, as I stated, today's event is featuring the literary leaders of Prince George's County. I couldn't be more proud. These are poets that have worked and are working through poetry to make a difference and make a change right here in Prince George's County. I'll share some biographical information by way of introductions for each member before they present today. We have a wealth of poets doing incredible, important, and essential work through poetry right here in the county. And we are honored to present them and have them share their poetry today. Let us begin to hear about and from them. Actually, let me begin first by sharing briefly some of my own bio info and a poem to get things warmed up. Then I'll introduce, bring to the mic, as it were, 10 members of the literary leaders of Prince George's County. Many of you know me as Poet Laureate of the county. I am this month, after 4.5 years, completing my term as the inaugural Poet Laureate of Prince George's County. I'm also the Poet Laureate of Ebenezer AME Church in Fort Washington, Maryland, where I have served as president of the Ebenezer Poetry Ministry for the past 20 years. Additionally, for the past 17 years, I have produced and hosted the award-winning poetry-based cable television program, Sojourn with Words, which was originally only able to be viewed locally, but now it's available for international viewing due to our virtual nature of productions since COVID. I have authored 3 books and am the founder of the poetry group Collective Voices, which has performed locally and internationally, presenting poems of conscience, empowerment, and inspiration. And finally, I'm the current coordinator of the literary leaders of Prince George's County. The poem I'd like to share is a call to action that relates directly to our theme, poetry, making a difference, well, making a change, making a difference. My poem is titled, What Will It Be? And what will it be? That thing that brings dreams to life, that sets visions ablaze in the mind's eye of would-be champions who dare to do new things based not on charted paths, but boldness of spirit, quest for the best with test of integrity every step of the way. What will it be that breaks the mold of the old ways and views, sees the need for something new, challenges today's reality, unleashing the vibrancy of possibility based on shifted and lifted expectations? Are we willing to do the work required for success, knowing nothing less will do? What passions would be awakened by purpose, previously deaf due to circumstance? There will always be voices that say, this is not the way. But will you stay the course, commit your life force to what you know is true? A new tomorrow, one that inspires, uplifts, and unshackles, could be the prize. Let us dance to this new song. The very thing we have longed for awaits us, calls us to raise more than our voices. New choices will make the difference. Fate, that arbiter of tomorrow, no longer simply awaits our reply, but dictates that we feel the urgency, see the immediacy of need. Will we heed her call? We have a choice. Today, as we stand poised at destiny's door, the question remains, what will it be? Now, our next presenter is Hiram LaRue. Let me give a little bit of information about Hiram. He's the founder of Poetry X Hunger and is bringing the world of poets to the anti-hunger cause. He is also the organizer of Voices of Woodlawn, a program of poetry, art, and music that confronts America's tragic legacy of slavery at historic plantations. And let's see, although he didn't mention it, I happen to know that Hiram LaRue is also the person that was the initiator, the founder, the force behind what was called an initiative called the Poetry Poster Project that took poetry to unlikely venues throughout Prince George's County and throughout the state of Maryland and beyond. So many of us are very grateful to Hiram about that. Hiram's sixth poetry collection, Patchy Ways, was just released from Cyberwit Press. Hiram LaRue is a member of the literary leaders of Prince George's County. Hiram, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Sister Joy, for all you've done. And this gathering is just one more indication of the positivity you've brought to all things poetry in the county, and I would argue well beyond. I simply want to acknowledge here that this is now an international gathering. in that Tony Trainer from Ireland has joined us, which is wonderful. It's also a bi-coastal reading in that Ellen Gannon from California has joined us. And it just ain't the same kind of gathering now that T.A. Niles has joined us as well. He's an amazing spirit soul. And so it's always good to see T.A. on here. I did post about, for those of you who haven't already, and many of you have, but if there's anyone who is interested, please consider writing and then submitting a poem about hunger, an empty stomach, to Poetry X Hunger for possible publication there. All kinds of kind of interesting, I'd say even exciting things are going on with Poetry X Hunger, and we'd love to have your work represented so that we can use it in the fight against hunger. I'm going to read one poem, which is all about privilege. It first appeared in Fevers of the Mind, and then made an appearance in Patchy Ways, my newest collection. It's titled Well Born. When every day floats by like smoothest cream, and all you've known are peaches, when every day is cream or bluest skies or languid sighs, while others try as might, if every day is ladled cream or spoons to lick, then yes, what does someone else's curdled anger mean? Thanks, Sister Joy.
Well, thank you, Hiram LaRue. Hiram is always one that makes us think when we hear his poetry. It's absolutely wonderful to have him with us today. Thank you again, Hiram. Our next presenter is Aressa V. Williams, a retired professor of English and also a creative writer. Aressa is an active member of Pen in Hand, Poetry X Hunger, and Poetry Nation. Poetry Nation. She is the Right Women's Poet Laureate. This message maker has published Soft Shadows, The Penny Finder, and Pancakes and Chocolate Milk. She believes poetry is mind magic. Aressa is the proud mother of Aaron Coley and the grateful grandmother of Dr. Aressa Coley. Aressa is a member of the literary leaders of Prince George's County. Please welcome Aressa. Aressa?
Thank you, Sister Joy. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm going to take you down memory lane. This is a narrative poem that's going to be included in my memoir, In Deanwood. And it's about my singing group, the one and only time we performed on Spingarn Senior High School's stage at the Spring Festival. So this was April 1962, and it's entitled The Ivels. We called ourselves the Ivels, Carlotta, soprano, soloist, Spingarn's concert choir, lead singer. Joyce and I, both altos, Antioch's Young People's Choir, backup singers. Beverly, soprano, and my best friend, backup singer. Practiced for months for the Spring Festival. Listened to the Chantels' Shore of Love, memorized the lyrics. Carlotta had her part down pat. Beverly and Joyce harmonized, but I could not find the right note. Made the background singers sound awful. Johnny, church choir member and neighbor, helped me to find the right key, a comfortable range between alto and soprano. Finally, the chantel sound, soft, soulful, smooth melody. We were good. We passed the Spring Festival's audition, rehearsed with Eugene Best's concert choir's pianists, found our dresses at Ida's dress shop on Georgia Avenue. White blouse top with a ruffle down the middle, bell sleeves, orange skirt bottom with a wide royal blue belt, high heels to match the belt, short haircuts, the latest style. The Ivels were ready to perform. Eugene Best played our introduction. A hush came over the crowd, took our places at the mic. Background singers crooned, sure, so sure of love. Carlotta's satin voice joined in like an easy breeze, caressing chimes. Cheers, whistles, our names shouted out, claps for an encore. We walked off the stage feeling proud. Van McCoy of Do the Hustle fame sent his talent agent an opportunity to audition for a studio recording. At school the next day, nothing but compliments. Y'all were the best in the show. I didn't know you could sing. The Ivels sound as good as the Shirelles. We were green wave celebrities. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, as good as the Shirelles. Wonderful, wonderful.
It was fun.
Well, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Okay, thank you for that. Our next presenter will be Patrice Smith. Patrice Smith has experience as a K-12 reading specialist and mentor teacher. She has melded her experiences to become both a poet and a spoken word artist. Patrice currently teaches English classes and administers assessments to adults enrolled in second language classes. She has published 2 books of poetry and an audio of poetry and music, Iris's Eyes, Poetry for the Mind, Heart and Soul, The Drum That Calls, and Visions and Voices. She has read or spoken her poetry at a Maryland State Reading Conference, art shows, workshops, and other venues throughout the area. Patrice has served as a judge for the State of Maryland's Literacy Association, Young Authors Poetry Competition, and for the Prince George's County Public Library Poetry Contest. Patrice is a member of the Literary Leaders of Prince George's County. Patrice, what do you have for us?
Good afternoon, everyone. A lovely day for poetry. I have a poem to share from my book, Iris's Eyes, and it's entitled The Task of Time. The nameless of the sameness craftily carves its signature to create a world of its own. It captures the least suspecting, even the much revered, all-knowing, then sweeps them solidly together into a mundane stream of simplicity, which solemnly manifests itself in the endless passing of time. Each moment is not always deserving of recognition or merit, yet every millisecond is undeniably implanted in that which can't be ceased or changed, from dawn's first light to dark's nocturnal sight. Time never stops to pause or rest or contemplate a moment to reflect. Instead, continually claiming its own as it remains on a steady course, destined to fulfill its ultimate goal. And we, its subjects, are obviously left behind solely to measure the permanent mark it makes after it has come and gone. The task of time.
Well, thank you
Indeed.
very much. Thank you
Thank you.
very much. Very nice, Patrice. Okay, our next presenter will be Brenda Bunting. Brenda Bunting, an award-winning orator, poet, and spoken word artist, is the author of Poems of Love and Violence in Between Life and Death. She has her master's in teaching from New York University. She is a lifetime member of the Kentucky State Poetry Society. Brenda has been widely published in print and online anthologies, podcasts, and other forums. She has been a featured poet on cable television, blog talk radio, and internet magazines. Brenda is the past president of the Silver Spring Town Center Incorporated and a humanities teacher in Washington, D.C. Brenda is a member of the literary leaders of Prince George's County. Brenda, what do you have for us?
Well, first off, I'd like to say, Sister Joy, I always enjoy seeing you and appreciate the work that you have done and continue to do as poet laureate so much. Just fabulous. So I wrote this poem for the event, and then I accidentally deleted it and I couldn't figure out how to retrieve it, but then I had to rewrite it. So that's why I kind of like last minute moving around here. So this is it. I shall begin with the birds. These messengers of flight creation fills the mind of the grounded with inspiration to soar into blue painted skies, every whistling among the leaves, every cawing of crows and squawking of seagulls, every extended neck of cranes and flamingos, every flightless run of ostriches and cheeping of chicks, every cooing of doves and neck dance of pigeons, every unique identified and unidentified species of the bird kingdom. There we have still so many women and men repulsed by our human diversity, speaking the aromatic ignorance of language most foul. But the poet's breath is a savage beauty and healing fire that walks among the undead with light burning through their souls to strengthen the weakened heart of many that stumble through the propaganda fields of madness. These deserts stretch for miles and miles while victims of murder and misfortune wait to see if any observe the crazed cretins of the greedy, insatiable, addicted to power, irrational. During the day, they scream more and more, and in their nightmares, they moan for more and more, hating the souls of the contented who walk in the ways of peace, already empowered with the ears of eternity, following the journey of greatness to which the vulgar are blind. They stumble in the darkness of their own seething and are eaten up by the confusion of their own distortion. But the divine has touched our mouths and adorned our lips with the creative intelligence of 1,000 truths that rush through the ears of the hearers like 10 tsunamis and are comforted. The hater and the slaver whisper in dark caverns and smile bearing teeth of dark discontent, of the greedy gluttonous spirit seeking to bury any light worker, any light walking in the power of their own renewal, a fire unquenchable, resurrecting with victims, filled with witness, word warriors of protest and power. Love and beauty will meet any violence with vision that will fill even the heart of the enemy with hope. The hands of hope are extending to all that need it beyond the meager offering of man. There is God, a divine sacred that needs no introduction, a universe full of beyond. But I threw away 300 poems in the name of God. And in times of my youth, I cultivated in the creases of anguish to unfold into blankets of despair, not knowing I had been given God-inspired hands to pen with ink the memories of the Most High. We are given microscopic insight into the glory that filled the genius minds with awe. Our hearts have been turned out to the starving intellectuals to partake. And for they too have been running through asking, where are the others? We are all here, the psychedelic trope of travelers who are waiting, walking, sometimes crawling toward the ambrosia until the newborn of hope resurrects once again into the soul of the poet wellspring, eternal, driven by a hand barely seen, as this body anchors us in the realm of reality called physical. We move beyond pen and ink to the breathstroke invisible. It is essential as air, but I will start with the bird.
Oh, incredible. And did you say you rewrote that?
Yeah, I deleted it by accident. I kind of cried a little bit.
I know. I would imagine you did. Okay. Well, thank you for the labor. And we greatly appreciate that powerful and beautiful poem. There may be some of us that would be honored to receive a copy.
Thank you, Sister Joy.
Okay. Excuse me, getting choked up over here. Our next presenter will be, well, before I move to our next presenter, I'm going to share another quote. This is a quote, and it reads, if we as poets are to take to heart the theme of today's celebration, poetry making a difference, making a change, let us embrace the words of South African Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who said, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Our next presenter is Sylvia Diane Beverly, an internationally acclaimed poet, presenting poetry in London, England at the Lewisham Theatre. A collection of her work is housed at George Washington University's Gelman Library. She is a member of A Splendid Wake, Gelman Library, George Washington University. Also, she has been featured at, let's see, where has she not been featured? There's a list here. I'm going to read some of it. Smithsonian's Museum of History, African Arts Museum, Hirshhorn Museum, and many other Smithsonians. I'll put it that way. Lady Di is, as she is affectionately known, is also a founding member of the poetry ensemble Collective Voices. She is a proud member of Poets on the Green Line, Poetry Ex Hunger, Poetry Poster Project, and Voices of Woodlawn. Lady Di celebrated the 40th anniversary of host Grace Cavalari's reading on her show, The Poet and the Poem, at the Library of Congress Experience. Also, she's a founding member of the Anointed Pens, which stands for Poets Empowered to Nurture Souls, the poetry ministry out of Ebenezer Amy Church. And she's an alum of Poets in Progress with Poet Laureate of Washington, D.C., the late Dolores Kendrick. She is the author of 2 books of poetry, Forever in Your Eyes and Cooking Up South, both available on Amazon. Recently, her poetry has appeared in several international anthologies, Moonstone Press Anthology, and as a part of Mike Maggio's 30/30 series for National Poetry Month. Lady Di is known as the love poet. The late Maya Angelou is her hero. She is the proud matriarch of her family, celebrating Black history. 2018, and her family received a posthumously awarded Congressional Gold Medal for her dad from the United States Marines. She is one of 4 Poets of Excellence in Prince George's County named in 2020. Poetry is her passion. And of course, Lady Di is a member of the literary leaders of Prince George's County. Lady Di, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Sister Joy. Thank you for all that you do for us. And you have led us with admiration from all of us as the Poet Laureate of Prince George's County. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
My poem today, Poems and Lovers. Poetic passion pleases perpetually, seeps deep into our hearts of lovers, ardently gives comforting feelings of love so wondrously, pleasantly unite hearts with everlasting glee. Oh, sweet poetry, endearing poetry, endearing poetry, love, far beyond our eyes can see. Memories shared, smiles of grace beyond fascinating years. Forever remembering grand goodness, melodic songs, melodies pure and true. Every waking moment, there's a sweet poem waiting to be shared. Love poems dear to lovers' hearts, expressing sweet goodness of love, just for the asking. How does it make you feel, is the question. Love in form of Valentine hearts, love shaped in form of poetry. Love touches lovers' hearts, energizes lovers' soul beings. Lovers feel live and strong beyond infinite years. Positive poetic passions. Lovers feel love of poetry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lady Di, the love poet. Okay, well, our next presenter will be Diane Wilburn Parks. Diane is an accomplished poet, an award-winning visual artist, an author, literary advocate, and a Prince George's County Poet of Excellence. She has written 2 poetry collections and a children's book. Diane is the founder of The Right Blend and a member of Voices of Woodlawn. Diane was brought in as an expert consultant to the National Trust for Historic Preservation on a National Endowment for the Arts grant. She celebrated the installation of one of her poems and artwork as a permanent sign at the North Patuxent Research Refuge. Diane's poetry has been featured nationally and internationally. She is a United States Air Force veteran, senior IT program manager, and resides right here in Maryland. Diane is, of course, a Prince George's County literary leader. Thank you, Diane, for your service. Please, what would you share with us today?
Well, definitely I'm sharing with all of you the celebration of who you are, Sister Joy, as our inaugural Prince George's County Poet Laureate. Thank you for everything that you've done through your tenure. And I just want to say for Poetry Month, and I kind of thought about what did I want to bring to you all today. And I just have to let you see what I feel when I write poetry. So the title of this poem is called The Page, the Poem, and I. This poem does not have drawers. It does not keep my mother's tongue or my father's hope. It is not an abandoned home leaning in from the past. It is where I collapse onto the welcome mat of the page's altar. It is where I transcribe silence into language. Even these words, as thin as fish bones, I squeeze them out as an offering. I find my childhood summers here, yellow with the sun's mouth wide open and a lake of rivers gushing like two little girls. I collect blue stones in every season here. And when it rains too hard and the lake is overcome with death and apology, I twist into a butterfly to start over again. No, this poem does not have drawers. It does not keep my mother's voice or my father's dream. It enters the front door of a page into the bright wilderness of my mind, where I have spoken like a man, a voice of velvet, baritone spinning. I have been lost, a mad woman, a mother, a grandmother, a wife, daughter, looking for her mother's eyes of understanding. The first home I lived in, now gone. I have dislocated the black clouds, walked through the souls of my own rivers to carry the reflective waters back to a new home to moisten the drought. When I find my key, this pen, and walk into this page, this door, this home, the scripture of my soul dances, the sun rises, the church bell rings. God enters this place too. I have sinned here and have been baptized and rinsed in the murky waters of a poem. I have loved and breathed inside the lungs to resurrect the life of a poem, a body leaning in like a root, a punctuation on paper, a branch with long fingers that hold the signatures of my past, a family tree of those who have gone and those who we no longer see. Even now, I lay everything here, ink, my black blood stretched across this page. I lay the moons of my black skin here, my black thoughts too. I tilt into the spine of this page and pluck vibrant wildflowers and purple plums from the fields of a poem. I collect blue stones, my mother's songs, my father's hum, the long stemmed silence of their ashed blue breasts, and the sound of birds chirping, where I find solace and home in the body of a poem.
Diane Wilburn Parks, absolutely never disappoint. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Derek Weston Brown. And let me see now, I have a little bit of bio info here. Yes, Derek Weston Brown holds an MFA in creative writing from American University. He is the founding poet in residence of Busboys and Poets. His debut collection of poetry, Wisdom Teeth, was released in 2011 through PM Press. He resides in Prince George's County. Let's see, what else do I have here? He is adjunct professor of English at Prince George's Community College in Largo, Maryland, and a creative writing teacher at the Duke Ellington School of the Arts. You can follow him on Facebook, DerekWestBrown.com. Derek, thank you so much for being with us. And of course, Derek is a literary leader of Prince George's County. Welcome, Derek. What would you share with us today?
All right. Well, first, I just want to share my thanks, for your service as the Poet Laureate of PG County. So thank you so much. And yeah, I'm glad to be here, and it's been awesome to hear all the good people and their pieces. And this piece I'm going to share um, is very, very new. I ran into the poet Reuben Jackson
Oh, yeah.
last week, and it sparked a poem. I was driving by randomly and I saw him. And whenever you see a poet, you gotta stop the car, get out and talk, especially if you're another poet. So this is called When Two Black Poets Randomly Cross Paths in Our Nation's Capital, for Reuben Jackson. You can't just pass a Black poet on a gray day, sitting like a sage whole note, a bench his back holding him like a musical scale. You stop, pull over, hit your emergency blinkers, because these moments in these days and times are urgent, pretissimo. And you can't tell this poet how overwhelmed you are, wrestling with love and loss as you wring your hands together, waiting for him to finish his phone call with tender words. As you stroll into his hug, you want to tell him that he is a sight for soft eyes and salve for sore ears, as the world seems to have gone goose step again, and doubling down is today's default. You both pull back and play Black folk catch up. How you doing? How your loved ones? You been writing? What have you been writing? Work? Can't complain. A piece of laughter here, a shoulder slap, a resting hand, and I can't stop smiling, even while a sob hums in my diaphragm, idling between grief and relief. We speak freedom suites, drape each other in multicolored comfort quilted arpeggios. Take care. Keep on doing it. Good to see you. One more hug for the road, he says, and I oblige, taking in this touch as we shelter in place, then turn away. My footsteps are drum brush soft to the car. On the way home, everything is gold and 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 gold.
Oh my goodness. Yes, yes. I love that poem, and I'm so happy for you that you ran into Reuben. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you for that offering very much. Again, that was Derek Weston Brown. Our next presenter is Saini Cisse. Saini Cisse is the 2021 Prince George's County Youth Poet Laureate. She is the Words, Beats, and Life 2020 Grand Slam champion, a Joe's Movement Emporium Creative Works alumni, and a Kennedy Center Youth Council member, and a facilitating teaching artist. She has performed nationally across the DMV area for audiences like Brave New Voices, the Smithsonian Museum of African Art, Blues Alley Jazz Club, Planet Word, the Kennedy Center, and Busboys and Poets. Saini has also held the distinction of being the inaugural poet for the mayor of Glenarden's Kashina Cross and the ceremonial poet for the Hyattsville Library grand reopening. She has appeared on BBC International News, NBC4, Channel 9, Prince George's Community Television, Sojourn with Words, the Poet Life podcast, and WBL, Words Beats Life Radio's Something to Say. Her poetry touches on mental health, Blackness, identity as a Gambian American, gender issues, and social injustice. She seeks to find and build community through her poetry and to encourage others to write and share their stories. Saini Cisse Saini Cisse is a member of the literary leaders of Prince George's County. Saini, what would you share with us today?
Hi guys. First of all, I want to say thank you, Sister Joy, for organizing this event and also for all of the work that you do as the Poet Laureate. You inspire me and your impact is just very far reaching, and I don't know, I just wanted to celebrate you in that moment. So the poem that I would like to share is titled Smiling Coast. I come from loud people who laugh with all their teeth, smiles as bright as the clothes they wear, and I inherit their pride. Everything I know has been passed down through word of mouth, so I try to remember everything I am told as if I will have to repeat it one day. It is in my muscle memory to hold on to everything that survives. Jollof rice comes from Wolof people. I know because my people are Wolof people. I chew the rice between my teeth and swallow my shame along with it. I learn to smile instead. I smile instead of saying when I am uncomfortable. Someone mistakes my kindness for an invitation and attempts to follow me home. I inherit contrast. I inherit my auntie's face with the stars in her smile and the night in her skin. When I got teased for disappearing into the sky, I wish I said I was the sky instead. I wish I told them how sweet it is to be claimed by the cosmos. Instead, I asked my dad why they call Gambia a third world country and watch his mouth become a portal. I inherit a body that changes colors depending on how the light shifts. I learn a smile can be a bridge, can be a cage, can be just enough to keep too many questions away. I learned that sometimes a smile is a shield. And sometimes it makes all the wrong people too comfortable. I hear my aunt getting yelled at from inside of a room and walk out with a full smile across her face. To shapeshift hurt until it has somewhere invisible to hide. I think this is where I learned it. I grow weary of people who don't show their real face. I become anxious about shadows and afraid of my own. So I put on this smile everywhere that I go, and I think that this is where I learned it. Thank you.
Thank you, Saini. Always so eloquent, so exquisite in your word mastery. Thank you so much. Let's see, our next presenter is Bernardo. Let me share a little bit about Bernardo. Andre Bernardo Taylor is a resident of Prince George's County. He currently holds the title of one of the 4 named poets of excellence in the county. He has been writing poetry for over 2/3 of his life. This journey has taken him from journals to stages all over the world, where his work has been featured in countless newspapers, magazines, and poetry anthologies, and also in his own chapbook, Bridge Over Trouble. Bernardo is a veteran of the United States Navy and a veteran of stage, radio, and television, where he has shared his life's observations and inspiration to astounding acclaim. An alumnus of the Poets in Progress with Dolores Kendrick of Washington, D.C., Poet Laureate, and the Anointed Pens of Ebenezer AME Church Poetry Ministry. He is currently a member of Collective Voices Poetry Ensemble and a freelance poet. Bernardo is currently completing work on the follow-up to his chapbook titled Bridges Over Aggravated Troubles. Bernardo is a member of the literary leaders of Prince George's County. Bernardo, what do you have for us today?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am pleased to be here with you. Sister Joy, I want to first say congratulations on making the trek of the inaugural poet laureate for Prince George's County for the past 3 years, even through the event that was a pandemic. I know that was very difficult to maintain focus and keep things moving forward. So I salute you on that. For me today, I am feeling a little tired, maybe just exhausted, maybe. So much running and so many things to do. There's so much to do, you know. But that's what God said that we have, that to whom much is given, much is required. So I try to rise and meet that challenge. I am one who tries to bring poetry to the theme of the event, and this event is no different for me. Poetry making a difference, making a change. I had to comb through so much poetry to figure out what I felt would accurately describe that today. Since most of my poetry, like as you know, is for the people and of the people and about the people and how to make this world a better place. And at the same time, I recognize the dominion of the word. And sometimes the simplest task, my muse has brought me visions, giving poems to me out of nowhere. And when I combine those things today, what I see is this. On a situation about a couple months back, I found myself in the kitchen, bending over to pick up a spoon. And this old body of mine just said, "Wow, what you doing?" And it hurt to bend down, it hurt to stand up. And what came out of that was a poem called Stooping. Now, today's event makes me ask the question, first of all, what is a literary leader? Is the meter running? Because I'm trying to come up with something most profound, or should I just put down the first thing that comes to mind? Somehow I think it must be more. For a literary leader, as a title is defined as someone who leads. To have those that follow, thinking to succeed does not require work, examination, preparation would not be fair. Stooping low, feeling woe. Sometimes I stoop to bend to pick things from the floor. It takes me back to Catholic Mass, to when we asked and chant, "Oh Lord, have mercy. Christ, have mercy." But I imagine him and what he went through, and this is nothing compared to being nailed to a cross. Some get lost in standing aghast. This is what some did to God, while some absolve themselves when they do these kinds of things to men, to women, to girls, to boys. How can one enjoy the noise of pain, the grind of groans, the scorch of screams, esteem themselves as right in doing this? The wails that fiercely pierce the air, where flashbang grenades invade incensed. Clenched batons rain down on heads and faces and other spaces. They can reach and beat and hurt and break and harm, like arms, like backs, like legs. Tear gas crashes amidst the masses, undoing the work completed by God, reversing blindness. How does one stand out front to get behind this? And finally, what muse chooses me to see all this? In an item on the floor, I stoop down to lift.
Thank you, Bernardo. Always something to think about. I love it. I love it. And yet very much a part of all of our life journey. Thank you, Bernardo. Our next well, before I go to our next presenter, I'm going to offer another quote. And this one is from Jan Karski, who said, "The common humanity of people, not the power of governments, is the only real protector of human rights." Okay. Sakithia Johnson is our next presenter. She is a literary artist, Amazon best-selling author of Color Me More Royal and is also executive chef of Mama Key's Kitchen. She has been a featured poet around the country and has also been a part of national poetry slam teams in both Maryland and Atlanta, Georgia. She has facilitated youth poetry workshops for Maryland National Capital Parks and Planning Commission for over 10 years, beginning under the tutelage of the legendary Watts Prophets. Sakithia has performed on BETJ's Lyric Cafe. Her poetry was featured in the motion picture 1098, Shoot for the Moon. Recently, she had the honor of performing at Maryland Mayor Wes Moore's fundraising event in Maryland, as well as at the African American Tobacco Control Leadership Council's 3rd National Menthol Conference. Successfully curating and hosting events like Family Night Out ATL and Poetry as Activism workshop, Sakithia utilizes her literary and culinary expertise to promote mental wellness and to connect families and communities. Sakithia, of course, Sakithia is a member of the literary leaders of Prince George's County. We're very happy and honored to have her. Sakithia, what do you have for us today?
Thank you so much, Sister Joy. I'm honored to be with you all this afternoon. And of course, I also want to say thank you, of course, for your leadership and your commitment to the poetry community and all that you've done for us over the years. You are truly appreciated. I'm quite sure we all can't say that enough. So just thank you so much. And this afternoon, I'm going to share a piece entitled Exhale Oppression, which I feel like is definitely connected to today's theme, making a difference, making a change. I hope that this piece can travel and, change the hearts and minds of others who are struggling and battling with this particular issue. How do you alter a brain? You feed it menthol and let nicotine be the reward. Watch over 45,000 Black lives lost, founded in disease. Smoking to ease anxiety just increases anxiety. Sounds like a mental and public health crisis. In this new era, we vaporize our lungs as if that's a smoke screen. It's interesting how we recognize the aroma of racism, yet crave its destruction. 72.8% of African-American smokers report wanting to quit. That's more than any other race. Waking up wanting to live, but can't. Welcome to the Black experience. The smell of tobacco like bullets. Black people keep taking hits. It's almost like in every toke we take, it tames our trauma. In this community where big pharma and big tobacco are business partners. Let me get a pack of, it's so many options. More accessible than a psychiatrist or doctor. Like tobacco use is not a medical emergency. Like every pack doesn't read warning. And I don't like how I proceeded to bow when cautioned. This stimulant is a depressant, a quick pick me up. And I'm gonna go down the street for that product that contains nicotine. And nicotine is an addictive chemical. Side effects? You're a fiend. Find me at the nearest newest tobacco shop, conveniently open 24 hours to store our hurt. I call it urgent care, because it's the closest place that cares, which is why even when we can't afford it, we're searching for sense until we can. If the tobacco shop never closes, how are we supposed to be open to change? Plus now we're healing through hookah. We're hooked again. Smoking sales went up. That's the first time in 20 years. It happened during the pandemic. We're funding our own killings. Listen, I took DARE and had to experience the truth. I hope they really are keeping it real, because tobacco is a drug. It is being abused. It is beyond a choice. It is being forced to fill voids. All these Band-Aids for structural oppression. You can't patch a humanity that needs healing. We must stretch our mental, exhale oppression and inhale health. advertise a life that supplies and demand wellness. We make up 12% of the population, but 42% of the deaths due to menthol. Each time you pass that tobacco store, recognize it's a war outside, and our actions determine whose side we're on. It's time to take a stand and open the discussion on injustice. And on the front line, the past and present smokers. Quit playing with our lives like we're a token. We want to stay alive. This is genocide over time. We are tired of getting smoked. SOS means no more smoke screens. Help. Ban tobacco so we can save ourselves. Thank you.
Okay. Sakithia, I knew you were going to come with it. Thank you, my sister. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Such power, and that is truly in keeping with our theme. Thank you, all poets who have shared thus far. Your poetry, I'm sure, is touching souls, hearts, and minds as well. I want to make sure that if some may have joined us a little bit late, but if you are interested in participating in the open mic segment that will follow our featured poets, please put your name and the word open mic beside your name in the chat, and we will call upon you to participate in the next portion of our program. Our next presenter is Patrick Washington. Patrick has spent almost 3 decades performing, conducting interactive workshops, and spreading love for the spoken, the written, and the rhythmic word across this country. His engaging styles have taken him across the country and back, from Washington's storied U Street circuit to television and off-Broadway theater. Patrick was most notably commissioned to create a poem dedicated to the monument of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which he performed at the unveiling on the National Mall on October 16, 2011. A teaching artist at heart, 8 years ago, he launched his own arts education company, Dialect of Prince George's, and with it created the Youth Poet Laureate Program, giving young people the opportunity with city officials to collaborate and serve as poetic ambassadors for their community. Patrick Washington is absolutely a member of the literary leaders of Prince George's County. Let's welcome him. Patrick, what do you have for us today?
Hey, Sister Joy. I feel blessed to be here. There's a terrific collection of human beings in this virtual room. A lot of beautiful hearts, folks I have not seen in a long time. So shouts out to all of you. Yeah, I see you, Kiki. I was going to say something, but yeah, much love to everybody. And Sister Joy, look, I have so much to say about you and to you, regarding not only your tenure of the past 4 years, but your friendship and mentorship of 20-something years. So, but we'll get to that at some point later. But I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I have 3. Okay, so, and I'll let you choose for me, Sister Joy. So I have a poem about Muhammad Ali. I have a poem about KRS-One, the rapper, and I have a poem about Bobby Caldwell, the singer who recently passed.
I absolutely am not going to choose for you. Absolutely am not going to choose for you.
All right. I'll do the Bobby Caldwell piece then. All right. Sister Joy, all you had to do is just pick one. Anyway, all right.
You too.
All right, so this piece, I actually wrote it before he passed, and it got posted on Facebook, and he read it. Anyway, a letter to Bobby Caldwell. Your songs are a 3-minute masterclass in relationships. That's enough time to make a call full of 20-year-olds wonder, what are they missing? There ain't a family function that hasn't smiled at your entrance. You found a way for me to co-sign my aunt's every and my uncle's every without ever having to climb into the dormant volcano of my mountaineer or stop it south of the border. I've seen you turn a car full of 30-year-olds into backup dancers. You taught me love should be deliberate. Some songs make us swerve off-road and plow into the nearest body. Yours make us pull over, park, dial with purpose. Now, I've heard the rumors seeping through certain verses, but I refuse to believe them. I hope I never meet you. Those who have call you their cool uncle, but will that be enough for me? I figure if your eyes are blue, it's because you sang them that way. You make a call full of 40-year-olds ready and 50-year-olds remember. You've rocked more automobiles than you realize. Not that I won't shake your hand and thank you, but I'm afraid that voice I came to trust might turn on me. Say things like, you're one of the good ones. If they hadn't resisted, label my concerns reverse racism, or just call me boy. You are over 70 years old, and my record with Caucasian sexagenarians has not been good lately. If you were to croon, don't ask your neighbors and come to you, my musical response would be, open your eyes. How could you be so blind? The playlist in my chest would collapse if I were ever to find a red MAGA hat awaiting you backstage. You were the one to ease those patches of loneliness on days when vows weren't enough, so all I can do now is lay back, keep listening for something that says you understand my skin and not just my heart. I'm sorry, Bobby. I love you, and your tenor is welcome, but this is not your invite to the cookout yet.
Okay, Patrick, see, how would I have missed that? Thank you, Patrick Washington. Okay. Well, I want to just ask everyone to please give a virtual round of applause and thank each of today's featured poets, the literary leaders of Prince George's County. I hope you agree, after hearing their bios and their poetry, that they are indeed doing great things right here in Prince George's County. If you reside in Prince George's County and would like to be considered for becoming a literary leader, please email me at Sister Joy, and that's SISTAHJOY at pgahc.org. And that's for Prince George's Arts and Humanities Council. So again, that's Sister Joy at pgahc.org. I'll put it in the chat, but email me a 100-word or less bio statement, and we can begin a dialogue about your views on how you have and wish to serve, possibly in new ways, to support Prince George's County through poetry. Thank you all so very much. Now it's time to begin our open mic. And I've seen some names. Thank you, Sherry, for putting that in the chat for me. I have some names already from the chat, and perhaps there may be a few more willing to step forward, but I'm going to start with T.A. Niles. T.A. Niles, are you still with us? And what would you offer today? And the house rules are, I'm sorry, I didn't mention it earlier, but it is a poem of about 2 to 3 minutes, family friendly. And it's best if you go directly into the poem rather than introduce or set up the poem, because we do want to accommodate all who are waiting to share. So T.A. Niles.
Who can resist Sister Joy, right? I had no intentions, but okay. And Lady Di, since you're here and you've been on me, I guess I better read something today. Okay. Can I do a screen share, or is that not allowed, Sister Joy? This is an acrostic piece, but I can read it without if you'd like.
Let's see, do I need to give you permission for that?
Probably. Let me try. Oh, I can do it. I think
Oh,
we're
wonderful,
here.
wonderful.
Okay.
There we go.
All righty. Can we all, I'm hoping we can all see this piece.
Yes.
This was done by a 16-year-old from Ukraine,
Oh, wow.
and it's entitled A Dreamer's Lament. You gave a life to pave the way beyond the past, to lift us up above the present, a future shining from within. Fear dared not cross your path, though your path embraced a cross, a crown without roses. Your palms bled for the breathing, even those with a cough. Your back bowed beneath the wooden weight of woe you didn't earn. Yet still we yearn for the essence you dispensed among multitudes, now morphed into throngs of shoppers for gifts and re-gifts, who trample any and all in their frenzy to buy. Sad sigh. For millennia, impostors have invoked your name while raining destruction down upon the most wondrous creation, life through love. The goal you set, the one we have not met and likely never will, if 2,000 years are any indication. We cling to modes that would best serve if returned to dust motes, but we hang on, spout ancient quotes to justify why so many have missed your message. Life through love, a Messiah's dream we seem unable to make come true. And the paintings, we're still not there. Thank you for listening, folks, and for all the incredible work that you've presented here today. Thank you.
Thank you, TA. Now, the art, we understand, was by the 16-year-old, but the poem was by you, correct?
Yes, that
Yes.
was an ekphrastic piece written
Yes.
as
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Exquisite word mastery, always, always. Let me stop. Okay, the next presenter, I see V. Helena. V. Helena, do you have a poem for us to share today?
I do, Sister Joy, and I join those who have already expressed their gratitude for your spirit and your leadership in poetry for the years that you have served as poet laureate, as well as the many, many years that you've just been engrossed in this beautiful, beautiful art form that we all share. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to read from my book, His Love is Freedom, and the name of the piece is Already All Right. One day, as I was taking out the trash, I noticed some school children coming down the oak tree path, some walking slower than others, some older than others, all with their mother's prayer of protection. I smiled. Went to work, my usual Monday through Friday thing, even sang some gospel before I got out of my car and into the swing of the job, ching ching. Meetings became conferences, many uses of demonstrative. People want to know, what is it that keeps their life afloat? I laughed. Caught dinner at a new gig in town, told a friend I would check it out, do a review, maybe save her and her husband a buck or two. Will anyone be joining you? Said the voice of the size 2 with a diamond-clad ring finger and dressed in periwinkle blue. I moaned. Sitting across from me, they look as happy as can be, transfixed on every word and bat of the lash, sweet sounds of laughter. That's all I'm after, but the great now and forever after never seems to come my way. I cried. Said my prayers, slipped into bed, started to bury my head, but got indignant and lamented. Father, have I not been true to you? Did what you asked me to do? I'm working 3 ministries and I desire to please, desire to know you and walk with you, understand and talk to you. I'm in church 4 times a week and in tongues I do speak. So tell me now, I want to know, is this the rest of my life? Is it my heart that I am to sacrifice? Tell me why you have forsaken me. Where is my mate to be? In the stillness of the night, your breath filled my nostrils with chamomile. Your warmth filled my heart with soothing balm and tranquility. Your touch filled my soul with peace. And as I rested in your bosom for the night, I realized that everything was all ready and all right. Thank you.
Oh, how absolutely wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Okay, and I'm caught here. Please, everyone who is not already a member of Literary Leaders, please include your contact information in the chat. We really want to stay in touch. So if you have not already done so, please include your contact information in the chat, and I will be sure to reach out to you and certainly be able to share upcoming poetry activities and information that hopefully we can continue to be a part of and support one another as well. Okay. The next poet will be Paul. I'll just say Tony. Tony, welcome to our National Poetry Month celebration. What do you have for us today? Oh, maybe he's not still with us. I thought I had seen him still here. Okay, so then we will move on. Let's see, moving down. Yeah, he's still on. Kahal, are you not sharing poetry today, Tony? Okay, so we'll move on and send me a note in the chat if you want to come, if you want me to come back to you. Our next presenter will be Rosa. Rosa, welcome to our celebration of poetry. Would you care to offer a poem today?
Okay, hi.
Hi there.
Yes, I would. And I just want to say thank you so much, Sister Joy. I just met you for the first time recently at the Marilyn Barb's anthology of poetry. I'm a new aspiring poet, and I would like to take this opportunity to present a poem.
Wonderful. We'd love to hear it.
It's a simple poem. The name of it is "The More We Get Together, the Happier We'll Be."
All right.
The more we get together, the happier we'll be. Because nothing, I mean nothing, beats a sweet memory. Paired with joyous laughter, it just doesn't get better. Brings a huge smile to my face, thinking about all of the trash talk and chatter. Some truths, some lies, all in good spirits to crack our sides. Even somber times won't hold us back. Together we can get over it and get back on track. That's what our ancestors used to do. They found ways to come together to survive the hard times too. Life is filled with ups and downs as long as God allows us to stay around. But when we come together, we can continue to stand. And when we lift each other up, we are covered by God's hands. The more we get together, the happier we'll be, treasuring every God-given moment like a unified family. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosa. What a very positive and just warm poem. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. We have Ellen with us today. Is Ellen sharing a poem today? Ellen?
Hello.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi. I'm here because of Hiram, his invitation, and I'm happy to be in your shining light, Sister Sister Joy, and to feel myself in this community. Thank you. I'm reading a poem that was published in Moonstone Press, and the title of the anthology is Love in the Original Language. and it's my debut being published.
Oh,
Holding it and reading it, I feel like a lark has been released from my soul of poetry. Thank you.
congratulations already. Let's hear what you've got to share.
Being Ellen, it's totally possible to soar, to feel whole, to breathe every cell in a symphony, to feel from the inside out, to enjoy my inner brook laughing sound, to smile from the inside out, to be one in each moment's uniqueness, to allow outside my mind to feel the gentle vibrations of the earth and all that's in nature, to live in the stellar energy that I am, to enjoy living gratitude, to allow infinite possibility to regenerate my body from within, to be the light of the world with love.
Oh, how beautiful, how absolutely peaceful and beautiful. Thank you for that. The world needs so much of that. Thank you, Ellen. So glad you joined us. I'll have to thank Hiram. Okay, let's see. Do we have Sidnatra Bates? Sidnatra Bates? I hope I'm not killing your name. Are you sharing poetry today?
Yes, I am. Sidnitra is fine.
Oh, Sidnitra, thank you, Sidnitra.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I shall read a poem entitled The Journey. I wrote it years ago, and I'd like to share it today. The
Wonderful.
Journey. The journey has been long. The miles have been littered and glittered with silent New Year's resolutions and haughty unfiled claims to fame. The train tracks of my tears have mystified the strongest supporters and caused innocent ears to ring with, "Oh no, not again." Three-peating the fear of settling into sapid mediocrity while crash landing on the lesson side of love. My feet, hardened by the jagged terrain of reason and consistently calloused by the foolishness of rhyme. The journey. This journey has been dutiful. Lost in the encapsulated nomenclature of the times and imbued with the heaviness that only blissful ignorance can daunt. Blessed by ancestry and angst, furloughed by misogyny and dismissed by tongue-in-cheek hate. Blinded by Orion's pitch and scarred by the moon's regard, what you doing up here? Confused while being escorted back to earth, cumulus chuckles and serious laughs out loud, she'll be back. This journey has been passionate. The journey has been kind. The journey has been bespoke and sometimes sarcastically sublime. This journey has been poetic. This journey has been refined. This journey has been perfectly nestled in the circumference of divinity and in the smoky mirrors of time. This journey has been forgotten. This journey has been formed. This journey has been turned sunny side up and yet sealed in destiny's two arms. This journey has been poked and prodded by truth, laced with clarity from a consciousness that is bound to evolve. This journey has been saved time and time again with 1 minute to midnight hope and with both hands lifted up, celestial resolve. This journey has been bejeweled with relics and antiquity, poised with deep purple amethyst healing and resplendent citrine light. This journey has christened 2 beloved offspring, laden with golden majesty and kingly delight. This journey has been marked by mistletoe moments in secret, followed by, well, you know the rest. The journey has been defined by my power of pretty and the brilliance of opportunity signaled at heaven's request. This journey continues. And this water hints of white amber and spiced cardamom. It quenches me with honeysuckle and mint and covers me with, hey now. I find myself drenched in the jus from its essence and fragrances me with cascades of right now and yes. Mara's metamorphosis sweetly announces my great anticipated return. And now I, oh, I am no longer waiting to exhale. Thank you.
Thank you. How beautiful. Okay, we've just been so blessed today. We've absolutely been so very blessed. Let's see. I already had Ellen, so she spoke with us earlier. We are at the end unless there's another. Nope, I don't see any additional names in the chat. So
Miko Collins.
oh, did Miko sign? Okay, Miko, absolutely want you to share. I was just with you yesterday and I would love to hear more of your poetry today. Thank you, Bernardo. Miko, what do you have for us? You're muted.
Oh, I said so much. I said, hi, everyone. Hi, Sister Joy. Good to see you again. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do a piece I recently wrote. It's called Cherry Blossom. And yeah, describe me as springtime. Look at me as regeneration, like church ushers on Palm Sundays, rejuvenation. Hold me in adoration like pink clouds and Ferris wheels in the summertime. Describe him as autumn breeze. Look at him as freedom, like 20 Hail Marys after forgivable sin, perfection. Hold him in tranquility like blue seas and calm winter nights. She marvels at him like gold flames rising from hibachi grills, fascinating. Holds him in joy like the dance inside of children's eyes. He looks at her as golden sand, sun-kissed by quiet days, his peace. Holds her in lifetime like the last breath before a dying wish, eternity. He wants to be understood. She wants to be the one that understands. Look at them as lifelong, like day and night coming daily, always, like forever and ever. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Miko. Very happy to.
This is Jacqueline. I would like to do an open mic.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, Jacqueline, I'm looking through the chat and I'm not seeing these names over here. Did you put your name in the chat?
Yes, I did. I just said open mic and then
Okay,
Jacqueline.
well, absolutely not a problem at all. I'm just feeling inept over here. I'm trying my best, but Jacqueline, please welcome to our celebration of poetry. And what do you have for us today?
Okay, and I'm going to do a haiku.
Okay.
And then the partner to that haiku, it says, it's called The Negro. They believed the promise, rewarded with plantation life, freedom never allowed. And the second part, which is the partner haiku to the Negro, is called An Unused Promise. During times of war, all slaves were promised their freedom. As history later revealed, this promise for freedom never became a reality for so many Negro heroes. There was no reward at the end of the war. The slave master regained their slave labor authority. The Negroes, slaves dreamed of freedom became another deferred promise. Poet Langston Hughes eloquently addressed what happens to a dream never allowed to come into existence, a dream deferred, a promise that has never been granted and remains as an unused promise.
Okay, thank you. Got a little history in there with that poetry. Thank you so much. I love it when we learn through poetry. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you for being with us today. Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any other poets that would like to share before we move forward?
I would. Hey, Di.
Lady Di is one of our literary leaders, and we are going to go through the group again with the literary leaders. Before we do that, we have another representative of the Prince George's Arts and Humanities Council with us, and I want to offer an opportunity for Sherry Bryant Moore to speak to our guest. And Sherry, would you care to say hello and offer, hey, I don't know, maybe you want to offer a poem even, but would you care to speak today?
I just wanted to say this is just my soul is full, and I just want to thank everyone that presented. It's been absolutely wonderful, and to also let you know that I have put in the chat information about our upcoming event, celebration of Sister Joy on April 24th at 6:30, outgoing Prince George's County Poet Laureate, and we'll be announcing our new Poet Laureate as well at the Hyattsville Memorial Library. And just look in the chat and I'll put it there, but just wanted to say thank you to Sister Joy and to all of you who have made this such an amazing, rich, and wonderful transforming experience for me, and I'm sure many residents of Prince George's County.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we do have a little bit of time left, about a half an hour. So we're going to ask for short poems from our literary leaders first. So going back to the list, Hiram is gone. Aressa, are you still with us? Do you have a second short poem to share? And maybe not. Okay, so moving on, I will then ask for Patrice Smith.
Yes, I have another short poem.
Okay, go ahead. And let's see, after Patrice, Brenda Bunting is up, and then Lady Di.
Okay, this is entitled Whisper of the Voiceless. Who's going to speak for the homeless with nothing and nowhere to go? Who will hear the voices of the hungry as their painful stories continue to go untold? How can the helpless cry out when their words are so limp with unspoken shame, overshadowed by the rhetoric of those who speak many words but never try to feel their pain? Who will speak for the hopeless and nameless, abandoned by those who didn't have time to care? Where are we going in such a rush that we leave them far behind, silently crying for some help while they're slowly dying inside? Why don't we turn ourselves toward their solemn faces, forgetting the line that divides gender, creed, and races? Instead, let's incline our hearts to hear their cries and begin to address what they really need. Pick up the torch, step up to answer the call, and follow those who wholeheartedly take the lead. When will we stop hurling so much scorn and blame, knowing that those silent cries we don't hear are out there somewhere calling out our names? What will it take?
What indeed, what indeed. Thank you so much, Patrice. Yeah. Let's see, Brenda Bunting, do you have a second poem for us?
Yes.
Wonderful.
So this is from my trip last year that I went with my brother to Yellowstone National Park. It's called the Buffalo. There was a stillness in his eyes I had never seen before, a beckoning closer on the Yellowstone caldera. I was reaching out. Our largest land animals speak a quiet universe to themselves. A gray day in August of clouded beauty moved through the big sky country. We, the modern people, are part of this natural world. We share this earth with every other living being. We share this home, the lands, but our gadgeting clumsiness, the convenience dependency relegate us to the title of visitors, of tourists, as a foreign unfamiliar. The memory of marauders heave with each breath of his flanks. Do not the animals remember how they roamed the North American continent plentiful? Here and there are small trails of history, Great Crossing, Kentucky, and the Buffalo Trace. They drank from North Elkhorn Creek and pushed through forested lands to grassy plains. They migrated on journeys colossal, where bones are buried in forgotten places. They washed in waters of the mighty Mississippi, but when the buffalo stampede, they become the Lord of all, a trampoline unstoppable. Perhaps we weren't connected, but I felt it so. My steps in tall grass were an honoring gait. Did he understand instinctively that I loved him some sort of way? We both shared the brown fur and brown skin. We both knew the ancient hatred and whispering memories of our ancestors across these lands. The dead are never silent for long. They resurrect in pain bones of the living. Our lives are a testament to their existence, to move in paths of a certain defined freedom.
Thank you very much. The buffalo. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Okay. Our next presenter will be Lady Di, the love poet. Lady Di, what do you have for us?
Thank you so much. For one who has survived COVID, sweet jaded jewel. Sweet jaded jewel, my heart goes out to you. I feel for you, sweet jade. Many mighty miseries you have felt. Multifarious discomforts you have endured. I wonder, sweet jade, what do you feel? What marvelous main tool brought you through? I'm so happy you were able to slowly get up and out and about. Wear masks, gloves, wash your hands. Living alone myself, I know empty feelings of loneliness, especially when you are unable to get up and out. Sweet jaded jewel, hearing your story, I vision myself on my own, living alone. My tool, my saving grace is power of prayer and poetry. Thank you.
Thank you, Lady Di. Oh, the power of poetry. Yes. Okay, our next presenter will be Saini Cisse. Saini, what would you offer at this time?
This poem is titled Ode to the Gaps in My Teeth. Ode to the gaps in my teeth. In all the room they leave for my secrets to seep, I've cursed the shifting spaces in my mouth, but today I only see extra places to let the light in. My fangs have just been sharpened by my words, of course. When you speak truth to power, a girl's mouth can find its sharp edges. So bless the jags as they deliver my words that curse and caress. Is the vehicle that makes of me honest unfolding. I've bitten my insides raw to find my roots, so I know my mouth is just all my aunties and iterations, a perfect instrument to an ancestral octave. I'm all portal, transmitting what's been felt through and before me. I'm so cyclical. I can't find where my ends touched, but I still feel I'm all here, and I praise the mouth that's gifted me the translation of it all. Thank you.
Nice.
Okay,
Lovely.
Saini Cisse. Okay. Bernardo, oh no, I'm sorry. I skipped over Derek Weston Brown. I apologize, Derek. Did you want to do a second poem?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
And we'll hear from
Ooh.
Bernardo.
All right. This piece is called Sidewalk Prophet, after one of my favorites, poets Khalil Gibran. Then said a man with a face pinched with hurt, speak to us of unrequited love. And the prophet raised his head aloft and cocked it, and the people grew worried that the man had drawn ire from the color of his question. But there was only light in the prophet's voice and tenderness. The crowd, drawn tight like knotted vine, relaxed, and with a great voice the prophet said, let not love curdle if its sweet milk is not accepted. Draw it back with the kindness it was offered, and store its sweetness within. Draw it back, not in anger. Though the hurt may feel pinprick sharp, Though the hurt may feel familiar, though you've brought this offering to their shores before, seeking harbor, home, consider offerings you've turned away. For even in that moment, you too became the pinprick, you too the flame and the burn, the shock. Though gratitude graces your tongue, know that love is the sweet and the bitter. That love is a flower of countless petals, lost and reformed. This flower thrives on its own accord. Know that you are not the sun, but black, rich earth. You are farmer, botanist, tiller. Cultivate the self till your heart be seasonless, lest love settle when it must. But what good is a seed if the earth does not welcome it? Is there a season bereft of love? Though the hand you extend finds none to partner it, do not cease loving. For if love is ever present within, you will always find a harvest, an ever full table of God's reaping. Do not let fear curdle the sweet within, nor let it rob your hand of reaching. Such is the sacred ebb and flow of love, dear boat. Seek other shores. Keep your harbors open, your garden to giving and receiving.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Again, that was Derek Weston Brown. Now, our next poet is Bernardo. Bernardo, what do you have for us for your second offering?
I just want to say it was nicely done there, Derek. I appreciate the upliftment of love at all times. Once again, in keeping with the theme, poetry making a difference, making a change, I offer this next poem in tribute to poetry itself. And learning what I've learned as I've traveled this journey. All the poems I did today are from my forthcoming book, Bridges Over Aggravated Troubles. Feel free to reach out to me in regards to when they will be released and purchase your copy. I believe in poetry. I believe in its magic. I believe in its ability to face something tragic, to place it in a place, a frame that helps us get past it, no matter how long, with power so strong. Come believe, let it take you to where you belong. I believe in poetry. I believe inspiration. I believe words that come from it are no collaboration. To a poet that knows this, shows this in all of creation, with power so strong in our prayers and our songs. Receive, let it take you to pastures of calm. I believe in poetry. I believe in its strength. I believe from haikus to sonnets, no matter the length. When word is served truly from the heart, you will feel the evidence in our prayers and songs, like a praise or balm. Conceive, let it take you from darkness to dawn. You see, poetry knowingly enters in places the core of what grace is. So sweet its embrace is. So come forth and taste this. See, I believe in poetry. Do you?
Yes.
Absolutely. I do, I do, I do. Thank you, Bernardo. How perfect was that? Okay, Sakithia, do you have a second poem for us?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Okay, so this next poem is entitled D&D, and I'm just going to get right into it. I've disrespected myself, being an empath with a distaste for boundaries, dishing out all of me until my plate was full of unfinished business. So I'm no longer hospitable. Whole time holding back being hostile while held hostage by my experiences. Shoulders showing the heavy boulders of others' burdens I have lifted through listening. Yet I can list the moments my words were shrugged off. Crying on backs that never backed me up, just basking in my dismay. Expressing my problems to the problem equated to heartache. Seasonally raking up who leaves out of my life, a pile I choose not to dive in, especially when they only miss you because you hurry to fix their issues. A total misuse of relations. I realized reliability can really be one-sided. Confidently confiding to co-signers with no constructive criticism. Just yes men and women who scream, yes, even when they know I'm wrong. And it never felt right riding the waves in my wrath. I wavered between real and fake. I had to distinguish between disloyal and disinterested and disqualify the quantity of persons in my life who couldn't disagree with me. I needed a quality team. Just don't call me when you need lifting. I played myself. Disillusionment disappeared once I chose healing. I helped myself to healthy interaction, no longer distracted by my need to decide in everyone else's life while leaving mine declined for comment. Honestly, becoming my own best friend and seeking divine direction distinctly deciphered my discouragement. I despised aiding others while sick. Can't suppress depression pressing buttons for others to move forward. This life is my own, and I have to hone in on every moment. Embrace peace, which means pieces of me only gifted after I unwrap the presence of omnipotence. I'm distant to discern my decisions with due diligence. Relationship building with the Most High, restoring my light from the source, constantly repeating I deserve as I desert, hurt, and serve my heart. Respectfully, D&D is a part of my daily routine. Do not disturb, because God is working. Thank you.
Excellent.
Oh my goodness. Such power today, such beauty today, such eloquence. Thank you, such purpose. I'm just so moved, and I thank each of you for your contributions, your offerings. Let's see, we have Patrick Washington, and if time permits, I'll close us out. But Patrick, what do you have for us?
Okay, I'll keep it short.
No, we got time. We got time.
Okay. Okay. I hate choosing poems. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the Muhammad Ali piece. This is one that was part of a project from a couple of years ago. Teamed up with a dance company from out of New York, and we created some poems. And I think you remember this. So it's called Tale of the Tape. Athletes have always been sold, lined up and measured like racks of meat. They get quartered, branded, numbered, and then told, this is how much freedom you get. In a world where you are your abilities, where people are loved for their physicality, it is the brave ones who dare to leave their bodies behind. And some would ask, who would dare reject their God-given name? Refuse to answer the glorious call 3 times over? Who would do that? Toss away honor bestowed to you by your country, claiming it weighed too heavy on your shoulders. What red-blooded American would dare find salvation in himself? Perseus felled monsters with the most awkward of weapons, and so did he. Only like a hairstylist, he talked to you while you got touched up around the edges. This man would knock you out with blessings. Never was God more present than when he stood tall, spoke truth to powerful men, and said, we can all fall. His legs just wouldn't allow. Stationary was simply paper to him. Opposition was nothing but vapor to him. He spent more time dancing with himself. This man was so bad that it's been said he could skip over peanut shells without making a sound. So fast he could blow out candles with a swing. Looked so good, Sam Cooke told him he should have been the singer. Moved like he was Gabriel's ringer. He also felt forsaken, though, by women, religion, his own nation, who only saw him through shades of idolatry, lust, and greed. They tried to lasso his aura. Over the revolution's roar, we heard multitudes holler, but why would God give him such a gift of the flesh and then ask for his spirit in return? He's done God's will, united millions of every shade and faith and prayer over his fights. Now, many of those prayers were for the other guy to shut him up, but he's brought more people closer to heaven than most evangelists ever will, and made strong men silently thank someone up there for the bell, proving that no one is above the wrath of the Most High, not even those who claim to come in his name. So tell me, what happens to the path when the traveler is too stubborn to follow and beats his own path, tells his people, me, we? Has a 6-year-old me wondering, who is that man my father is looking up to like that? Had my head tilted so far back that this poem has been cultivating in my throat for over 30 years. And honestly, I still have no idea. All I know is I've never done sleight of hand in a stadium before, never broken bread with kings or presidents, never stood triumphantly over anyone and dared them to get back up. But I do know what it's like to be human, to have my bike stolen like he did and walk home, to have a heart bigger than my body, to want better things for the next few breaths, but instead to squander them. I know what it's like to pull over on the roadside and kiss someone, to have taken life a few rounds and gone back to my corner, tired, battered, a little bruised, but still thinking to myself, at least I look better than they do. This is where it came from. The first MC to back up everything he ever said on the mic. Knowing him, though, he would never give us that. Knowing him, he'd say he looked better than us. To this day, knowing him, he's probably up there right now, sparring with the angels, faster than ever.
Oh, oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so glad you chose that one. Okay. Well, we are approaching the hour, so I'd like to close us out with this poem that I'm glad I have time permits me to share it. Dr. King responded to a letter from the clergy, and he responded to it from jail. And this is a poem titled Birmingham Letter. Birmingham Letter. He wrote a letter exactly 60 years ago, explained why his people couldn't wait, told his fellow pastors and the world about the ways the church was complicit, those calling protests untimely and unwise. But not just the church, the government, police, silent moderates who stand by while Blacks suffer and die from injustices that should not exist in the first place. My heart breaks. I become sick when bureaucratic systems refer to killings as infringements on someone's civil rights. When I think about progress not made, measures we've lost despite costs paid, I become physically ill at the will of so many who cling to yesterdays that say Blacks are unworthy of equality. Our neighborhoods don't need quality schools, grocery stores, clean water. It takes me to rage that military spending still outranks education. How pharmaceutical corporations dictate the quality of the care my loved ones receive. I become more than peeved. My pressure soars when I see homelessness still plaguing our streets, people in line for food to eat, as CEOs rake in billions in stock options. There's no time for delay in the face of anarchy. If ever we are to heal, get beyond the sickness we feel, we must refuse to ingest the garbage and swill we've been forced to consume. Dr. King's letter reveals God's word is the answer. Equity, equality, empathy, and yes, love are essential fundamentals of humanity. This reality we cannot deny. Without them, our nation not only will not heal, but like a carnivorous vulture, it will consume the venomous carcass of its own oppression and die. I hope we've all given everyone on the Zoom something to think about. I hope that each of you has received nourishment as you have fed us so very incredibly, powerfully. This celebration is the last that I will publicly host as Poet Laureate of Prince George's County. I will forever, of course, be the inaugural Poet Laureate of Prince George's County, but it has been my pleasure and my privilege to serve these last 4.5 years, what was originally to have been a 3-year term, I'm honored that I was asked to stay on. I have made so many wonderful connections. I hope I have served in a way that uplifts the individual of all ages, uplifts the county in a way that enriches Prince George's, so that people will say, Prince George's County is where you go for poetry. Whether you're learning, whether you're sharing, whether you're boasting, whether you're pleading, poetry has all of that to offer and then some. And it has the poets to back it up. You've been my privilege to be your ambassador. I hope that each and every one of you will consider that poetry alone gives you the right to become the leader, to become the spokesperson, whether you bear a title or not. You have been gifted and authorized by your poetry to step up and let your voice be heard. I thank you on behalf of the Prince George's County Arts and Humanities Council's Office of the Poet Laureate, on behalf of a little farm girl who never thought she'd have the opportunity or the ability to speak on means and ways that make a difference, even in this world. Thank you so much. Happy National Poetry Month. And please save the chat so you can stay in touch. I'm saving it now. Click on the 3 dots in the lower right corner. And then when you click on it, you'll see Save Chat. And then you'll know that you can be in touch, not just with me, but with one another. Thank you so very much. And thank you everybody, including our Zoom technician, Keisha Mason, Marketing Director for Prince George's Arts and Humanities Council. Thank you to Sherry Bryant Moore with Prince George's Arts and Humanities Council, and each and every one of my wonderful literary leaders who has shown that Prince George's County has greatness in her realms. And thank you to each of our guests who shared and just listened and allowed us to shine. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. And I hope to see you on the 24th when we name the next Poet Laureate of Prince George's County.